All right. We are online and here for early Sunday afternoon spaces. Coming online early today so everybody can watch whichever show or both shows they prefer. Got two shows tonight. Two. There's George. Invite to co-host. Invite to speak. Let's see how this rolls today. There we go. How you doing, George?
Good. Humidity has arrived in Arkansas. Yay.
Oh, yeah. No, we're dry down here in Phoenix, but it's been hot for about a week and a half. Where it's like the mornings and evenings aren't bad yet, but yeah, no, it's probably like 95 or 100 out there today. It was hot out this morning when I was.
Can't hear you.
Huh?
I can't hear.
You can't hear me? What?
You're just keep going in and out.
Really? That's weird.
Okay, now you're back.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm like, all my connections are good. I got the full on thing. I don't know. I'm playing a little hurt today. I pulled a muscle in my side, but physically, my technology wise, I'm good.
See if anybody shows up for this little thing here.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how many people will come in today with it being so early.
Not many.
But...
It's not.
No guess that nobody showed up. We'll give him 10, 15 minutes. If nobody shows up, that's fine.
That's interesting.
I
wasn't sure.
It's one of the things they say about wrestling fans, though, where they talk about like when a show has to change time or change channel, people get used to things. You know, it happens. Yeah, let me post this out and see if anybody
Every
wants
time you
to join
talk,
us.
you keep fading out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's strange. Maybe I think my microphone was up, but no, it should be good. I don't know. Says I'm fully connected with everything in there.
Dude, I gotta tell you, I don't know where in my youth. I really wish we would have had Amazon. Amazon's amazing.
Oh my gosh. There's certain things where you realize how did we live without this? Like when I was without internet for 5 days, like it was like impossible to do anything. You know, it was just so difficult. Let me share this out.
I appreciate not being out with internet sometimes, so I can live with it once in a while. But you're right. After a couple hours, you're
exactly. I was like, honestly, the first day wasn't too bad. I was only pissed because it was Tuesday and I wanted to watch NXT and Dark Side of the Ring, and I run my TV through the internet. But that was okay. My wife reads books. I got stuff I could do. It was fine. By about Wednesday afternoon, after like 36 hours, you're like, okay, dude, come on. This is just annoying, especially too because we live in an old place. Like our place was built in like the late 1950s, so it's got some dead zones. So you can't really get like for me, if I wanted to watch YouTube, I got to be closer to the door. I was trying to watch PWT, and I was like, well, yeah, I was like leaning off my sliding glass back door. Oh man,
yeah, everything that I ordered. Even stuff I think I ordered something yesterday at 2:00 in the afternoon, and it said it'll be there Monday, June 2nd. I'm like, all right, cool, that works. A week away. It showed up today.
I was gonna say, I'm like, that seems far out with it being Monday, but dang, that's funny.
I'm like, how?
I mean, that usually happens with us. We have like monthly orders. It'll come in, it'll check in on one. Like, oh yeah, it came in on Sunday, and then it says it'll be there by Tuesday or Wednesday. It comes Monday morning. All right.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I know we have a warehouse here just outside of Hot Springs, and there's also one in Little Rock. So there's two of them that are within an hour and a half of each other. So you pretty much get it within a day or two max.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I know there's at least one somewhere in the Phoenix area. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like 2 or 3 though. We're pretty spread out, and it's pretty flat, and then it's not too hard. Like we're pretty centralized to like get to either San Diego or LA, Vegas. Like that's why Southwest does like the main Southwest hub's in Dallas, but the secondary hub's here in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I know that the desk I ordered was the thing that I thought would take the longest, and it was here yesterday. Yesterday when I got home from work, they showed up.
Nice.
They showed up.
And those things are usually heavy.
Yeah,
very. Usually pretty heavy.
Very. He offered to carry it down to my place.
Yeah, when I got mine, it was when I got mine, I think it was like 60, 70 pounds. Yeah, those things are pretty beastie.
But I was being cool, and I'm like, I can do it myself.
Are you going to put it together?
Absolutely not.
I thought so. I remember when I put mine together, you were like, it took me a full day to actually pull it off.
No, the deal was that I would have Chuck pick out everything that I needed, not kill me in price, and I would order it and buy it, which I've done all the above, and then he would come over and do everything, get it set up for me.
That's fair. That's fair.
The deal. And he gets paid like he would get paid for doing our work on our site. So he gets paid what I pay him to do work on our stuff.
Yeah. No, it's our very own Hotchkiss Featherbottom. It makes sense. No, it works out.
Dude, I don't know. I can't do it.
I'm just kidding.
No, I have no patience. There's no way around it.
I get you, man. I can't totally do it. Understand.
Something's going to go through a window. Something's going to get thrown out of something. Something's going to happen. Then I'm going to have to reorder it and be upset.
I'm good these days as long as there's like clear instructions and not like that crazy IKEA crap where you can't know. And then usually I just give me a good YouTube video, give me a how-to, and I'm normally pretty good. Oh, what's up, Sam? How you doing, buddy?
Speak. Everybody speak. This is a free for all.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is just kind of a free for all today. We're just kind of hanging out before the show. I figure there's going to be a bunch of watch-alongs for the pay-per-views today. I know of at least like 3 already I've seen come across my Twitter feed.
Programming note, next week on Spaces will be Johnny Bottles.
Yeah. That's
nice. Nice.
We got that.
Yeah, no, that's fun. I like how George has pulled he likes to clear out shows. That'll clear with the SC Maniacs. You've gotten 2 from the Toonie Talk guys. You know, it's good.
Yeah, well, Kevin Apollo's was one of my favorites, to be honest.
Dude, that's one of my favorite conversations I've ever had. Like, period.
Yeah, we didn't say anything.
I know, but it was, well, the thing
awesome.
is though, listening back, we said more than you think, George, but a lot of it but the thing is, like, we would say something and you could feel or just hear him get sparked into it. That was the best part, where we would, where it wasn't like we would say something and he'd be like, right. Like he would keep going. Yeah, it was just great. Cause, I have to listen to these back to edit them. You know, sometimes it's kind of like, it's cringe or I didn't want to hear part. That one I was enjoying the entire time and just listening to it, wasn't skipping anything. He's awesome. That was great.
How is it on your end, Sam, to be listening to it all? Because I don't listen back to it. I don't listen to myself at all. So.
I mean, it was great. Like Kevin is super passionate and like he has a sense of humor about him. He has he's a very grounded person, or that's at least how he came off.
Right.
I don't know him personally, so I wouldn't know. But, you know, he sounded like, really, he and RJ have been 2 of my favorite guests.
Nice.
I know with Kevin, I had to get a hold of him through a DM, and there was a kind of a backstory behind it because he wasn't following me, so I couldn't DM him. So I had to DM Awful first and go through the channels. And then Kevin DMs me and goes, dude, I don't check my DMs. Here's my phone number. Just text me. I'm like, who does that? He's super nice all the way around. He texts me the whole time through. And so what you see, what you're hearing is what you hear is what you get 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the best for him was you heard, if people listen to the episode that right before, you get to hear me find out live that he was coming on to join the show. That was great.
Yeah. I mean, and then just like all the different perspectives and like people aren't being like hot takey or being like dickish about anything. Like that's my favorite part of it is like the guests, yes, they have opinions and they have views, but they're not assholes about them. Like I can't, that's what I hate about a lot of spaces. It's like, people use it like an episode of ESPN First Take where, yeah, not everything's factual, but I'm just going to throw this take out into the ether and then, you know.
No, it's funny you say that because when it was George's idea to do the spaces and like, obviously, like I said, I'm game for anything. But the only concern I had was from what people had said to me, which was the same kind of thing of like, man, they usually devolve into people yelling or, you know, people will come in and just be rude or, whatever else. And so we really wanted to make it a point to be that way. And it's great to hear that because that's the goal. Like, as long as everybody can have fun and enjoy themselves, the guests have been great and hopefully we can continue to do that kind of stuff. But it's really more of that thing where, just rule number one, man, don't be a dick. Unless, somebody's a dick to you, that's different. But I feel like it's working really well.
When I explain it to these people, when I'm trying to get them to come on, they kind of ask me, what are we going to talk about? And I'm like, whatever we talk about, what we talk about. This is basically, it's three people just talking. Like you're down in your basement watching TV or something. That's all that's all my vision was for this. And like Jake said, it was kind of tough to convince him at first because he knew what we were getting into, sort of. But once you explain the basics, like if someone's a dick, we can just knock you out.
Yeah.
You don't have to let people talk.
Right. No, and now that I know how the stuff all works and with the system of, because I remember one time there was one person that got a little snippy, but then we responded back in a very cool way, and then that person totally changed and was really cool from there. And I feel like that's kind of the vibe and the idea. Yeah, it's I feel like it's just kind of like a few people hanging out at the bar, or hanging out at a restaurant or something, or like you said, the basement. We're just trying to hang out and talk.
Yeah. I mean, it's Cheers where everybody knows your name. Rest in peace, George Moore.
Hopefully I don't die tomorrow. Thanks.
Stop. I mean, so what did you guys think of Saturday night's main event?
Yeah, I was figuring that's kind of what we'd probably lead into and start with of it. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed them. I feel like I think some people, and George said it on PWT last night, that people have too much expectations out of these shows sometimes. Like, I feel like they're either expecting them to be PLEs, or the biggest complaint I see is about the commercials. I'm like, y'all, it's network TV on a Saturday. Like, that's how they make their commercial money. Like, what do you expect? Have you not watched a sporting event? I mean, like, that's, you watch a basketball game and there's commercials every 4 to 5 minutes. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Hey D, what's going on?
Hey
There was a part of the
guys.
show I really loved. I really loved I thought that audience was really good. Like for the CM Punk pop and then the Cody pop, those people were loud. And so for me, I enjoyed it though. I knew what we were getting into though. I was glad to see Cody came back though. That should.
I was glad to see Bronson Reed turn up. I was like, oh yeah, he's part of the faction. He's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, that was cool.
People are, like you said, like I mentioned yesterday, people expect too much out of this.
Yeah, they really do.
It's just meant, when it first started, it was meant for filler for Saturday Night Live that was taking a break. And I told you guys yesterday, they pre-tape these shows weeks in advance. Weeks in advance of the airing.
You said that.
I went back and looked at every single one of them. And the only one I could find that was 2 days prior was maybe 1 or 2. That was it. When they moved to Fox, they did 1 on an hour tape delay, and they did 1 live over there, and that was it. They all were on tape. They all were taped days, sometimes months in advance.
That's super interesting. I didn't realize that they did it. But it makes sense, though, because, I mean, what's funny is it's not even so much that it was filler for Saturday Night Live. I mean, it was. But really, it was replacing the Johnny Carson reruns so that Johnny could take more days off during the week and run his reruns then and he could have more time off. So it was always, 11:30 to 1 a.m.? That was the original time. That's why when you go back and watch those shows, there's the opening match, and then the main event usually goes from that 11:40 to midnight spot, and then they have another hour's worth of show where they're going to give you matches, but they're, nobody really usually cares.
Because nobody wanted to be on late.
Exactly. Yeah.
If Hogan was on, he was in the first half hour.
Yeah, it was usually the second match. From what I remember, they would have it be some opening match to kind of start the show that would usually be a squash or something quick, and then they would give you the video package and playback and go right into it. But I mean, I thought the show was fun.
I liked it too, Jay.
I'm glad to hear that, because I feel like most people, and it's funny, Sam and I talk about this a lot of times in DMs and stuff, is most people, they just want to complain, so they find
exactly,
and they focus on that. And it's like, but the show as a whole was good, because I know people were complaining about the cage match finish, and it's like, I mean, cage matches with doors, that's what you're gonna get. It's part of the deal. It was fine. Like the match
Yeah,
itself wasn't
exactly. I
bad.
have never seen Damian Priest that way, throwing stuff like that until the first time he turned on Edge and when the Judgment Day first started. And so I was like, Damian is he being aggressive?
They gotta do
Yeah,
something
he's
with him
better.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
Man.
I feel like that's what George is always talking about, that they've got to do something with him to kind of push
Mm-hmm.
that down. And I feel like it'd be better if he got more, and it's funny to kind of say because it's almost like an Undertaker type move, where if he kind of shifted more from the goth style of where he is to more of like a biker style kind of, where he's just more of a badass as opposed to being the dark, you know what I mean? Like the dark, especially now with what Malachi Black coming back, and if the Wyatt Six are going to be back, and if they're going to start pushing Karrion Kross because people seem to like him too, you kind of run out of spots for these darker characters, and it's almost like he'd be better off being just a badass. And
So
this could be a way to
so next week, if I hear keep rolling, 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 I'm like, oh shit.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
it'll probably be more like, it'll probably be more something with like Slayer.
That was
but
for you,
still,
Sam.
I just feel like, yeah, that's because
I
you're
love
absolutely
Jacob.
right, George. He's got charisma in the right way. It's just there's something that isn't fully clicking with him, because he clicks with certain people. Like one of my best friends lives in England, and we chat kind of often, and that's his favorite guy. And you know, so it does click with some people. There's just something missing, and I feel like that might be it, especially now.
Is that a heel thing? Should he turn heels?
I don't think he needs to so much be heel. I mean, I would say just have him be less with like the leather and the darkness of that, and just kind of be
See
more.
where it goes.
Yeah, kind of be more of like a hard rocker. I mean, he's a heavy metal guy. He was a bouncer before. I think it's not something that you need to like drastically change. We're like, you know, on SmackDown on Friday, he's in jeans and a leather jacket, but like a gradual change. And then, I mean, I'm always for having them kind of do whatever they want to, like however they are going to react and who they're going to wrestle with, and then let the fans kind of react with it, where if it ends up turning him heel, but they boo him, but they're reacting, great, turn him heel. But I feel like with his character, if you pushed it in the right way, it could work. But I mean, you never really, it's going to also depend on him. But it's similar like with Breaker. When Breaker first came up, he was just a badass. Like he wasn't really, that was his character. He was just going to maul people.
Since we have people in here, I thought of something last night as I was watching TV, watching the Saturday Night Main Event. All the main guys in WWE now, besides Braun Breaker, are all 45 or older.
Well, Cody's under 4. Cody's a little
40,
younger than that, but not much.
40 or
so you're right.
They're all older.
Yeah.
Let's go with this. So they're all older. NXT's men division is subpar at best. They're going to have a problem soon with guys getting to that, you know, that WCW old man range.
I wouldn't say the NXT men's division is subpar. I would say parts of it are, but I mean, like,
all you got is Rick Williams,
Trick
Ethan Page, and
Oba.
Ricky.
Okay, there's 4.
Lex King.
That's a pretty
Lexus
big
ain't going to be coming up being a main eventer.
No, but he would be
maybe not a main eventer, but
he'll be a good top mid Carter, and I think he's another one that could come up well. I'm interested to see what happens with the influx, because obviously what I thought they were going to do with the draft isn't happening. I thought it was going to be a straight like.
I think it is happening. I think it's at the SummerSlam.
Well, the draft will happen, but I thought it was going to be straight. Just the NXT people, but they're already bringing up a lot of them, which is fine. So it'll be interesting what happens with that kind of shake up with that of who they bring up, and then who comes into NXT either from LFG or the ID program. Yeah, hey, Charles, I see a hand up. Hang on, let's see what's up, Charles. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great, you guys. It's like you were saying, is that these people expected Saturday night's main event to be like a PLE. It's just like a house show on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Like the booking is going to be outrageous and weird because, you know, they're they're appeasing the casual audience. That's what
Right.
it's there for.
That's
And
why
people
it's
are
on
all tripping
network
out.
TV. Exactly.
And my thing is that you could have watched it on Peacock where they had limited commercials, but you watched it on network TV. Like, what did you expect? Did you expect
Uh-huh.
like 10-second commercials on network TV? Like, do you guys not know how this works?
Yeah, I kind of
Like,
wish.
Oh
have you
yeah,
guys
that's
never
why
watched
I
the
got
TV
Peacock.
show?
I wish you would have
That's
told me
why I
that
got
yesterday,
Peacock.
Charles.
What?
But I wish you would have told me that yesterday. I forgot it was on Peacock, and I watched it on NBC by accident.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got Peacock. I'll watch it all on Peacock too. I was like, yes, Peacock.
And I just fast forward through the commercials. Like, some people in the IWC doesn't know how to use our remote control. Like,
Well, I
anytime I
mean,
see a commercial, I just mute it. Like,
we got Dave using a landline still, so it's interesting what people know and don't know. It's funny you guys
I,
bring up expectations because I feel like that's another thing that you see a lot of too right now, as people are saying like, "Oh, I'm not really feeling it right now like I was going into Mania," and it's like, of course you're not. Like Mania was the peak. Like there's always this like rebuild and like lull period. And it happens every year where people just want to complain and act like, oh, the booking's terrible. I'm just not as into it as I was. And it's like you had the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. Of course you were more into it then. That's like the playoffs. There's no off season. There's no time to have a little bit of a lull. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
wrestling could even probably do with an off season, but obviously with where it is, that's where we are. We're never going to have that. So it's like, that's kind of what this period is. And it's still pretty good. Like there's a lot of good storylines, I think.
And for me, I always approach everything like a casual fan. Even though I've watched for years, it's like, I know what they're booking towards.
Yes.
Like, I don't take it seriously. It's a TV show. I'm not going to sit there and analyze, well, look at that. Look at the kind of ring gear that he has on. I don't like that because of the ring gear. Oh, look at that. He did one botch and I'm not going to like that because, I take this really seriously and all this other stuff. Like, I'm just there to watch the show, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
That
I'm not a
happened to me with the
fantasy
Travis
booker.
Scott thing. People were, and not that I enjoyed it or liked it, but the moment that came out, I was like, this is not for me. I understand that. And then you go look at the guy's got like 80 million followers on Instagram. Like, that's why they did it. Like, I get
And
it.
then they
Like,
were bitching about the ticket prices too. Like, do they not understand? It seems like the IWC's never been to a sporting event or a
right.
concert or anything else. It's like, oh, look how much that they charge for Saturday night's main event. Like, you guys must not go out a lot because concerts cost just as much.
Yep.
Sporting events cost just as much.
Yep.
You got to pay.
Exactly. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's funny that like right after WrestleMania, the playoffs started for the NBA and the NHL, and people are posting like the Ticketmaster for those. I saw for upper level Knicks tickets for the playoffs, and it wasn't even a clinching game. It was the game before. The lowest price was $980 for a ticket in
That's
the upper
Madison
deck.
Square Garden. You're going to get that.
I know, but
That's awesome.
but even say that's double. Like even so, if you said if you cut it in half for here and say it was
Uh-huh.
400,
And they want to
like it's
complain
almost
about the
like
ticket prices for Raw and WWE. Come on. Some of them
yeah. I mean, that's just
are only $400, $500.
Yeah, my wife and I, it's our favorite thing to do is go to concerts. We got married at a music festival and we pick and choose sometimes. It's like, oh, that band's coming, but like,
Mm-hmm.
we've seen them 3 times. They're playing at the venue that's further away, or sometimes like 2 years ago, one of my favorite bands came through and they hadn't played Arizona in like 10 years. Like, okay, we'll pay the money to go see that one, but it was expensive. It's part of the deal.
Yeah.
It's part of life. Like
Yes.
you're gonna pay money for things. Like the IWC tends to complain about everything, and it's like, well, you have no problem paying $800 or $1,200 for a phone, but God forbid you're gonna go and complain about WWE being $800. Like
Yes. Oh, thank you for bringing this up.
AEW tickets
Yes.
aren't any cheaper.
They're not.
When they go on sale, they're just as expensive. Just that after they're done going on sale, they kind of got to give them away a little bit at the end. But
right, well, and that's how they can announce. Like that's why AEW never announces what the numbers are for the sale. They just announce the gate. The gate. We've amassed this much in the gate. Well, it's like
you got to remember, Jake. That kind of stuff it's only beneficial to them when it's pro for them. Other than that, if it's negative, it doesn't really matter now, does it?
I mean, that's the IWC in a nutshell, especially the people that the sickos in a nutshell, or people that follow Dave. Like even Dave recently was all of a sudden he starts talking about ratings numbers because Dynamite had like 3 shows over 600,000. Then this week's were because as always the go home show is absolutely terrible and nobody wants to watch it. They do 500,000. Everyone's like, oh, but quiet. No one says anything.
Well, you noticed last week when it was at that 600,000, he did not include that does not include the max numbers. But then when it goes below that, that does not include the max numbers.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, you can tell that these people have an agenda. It's like, shut the hell up and just enjoy the show for once, you know?
Charles, realistically, Charles, what do you think the max numbers could be?
Well,
realistically.
I mean, wrestling is such a niche audience. From my time as being in advertising, we've always known that wrestling is a niche audience. I would say about at least 30,000 or 40,000. Most people aren't gonna get HBO to go and watch AEW because they're not gonna know what AEW is. And plus where they're cataloged, they're not gonna go and search wrestling. HBO is gonna be there for movies. They're gonna sit there and go for sports that they recognize. It's not gonna be anything to where, I gotta go see John Moxley get stabbed with a nail so many times. Like, look at that.
I feel
but
like even 30,000.
I would say about 30,000.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And that might be it. I would see. I feel like you guys might be being generous.
No,
I feel like they might. I would just.
It can't be.
I haven't seen what they announced. Right, I've seen their big announcements for like the big numbers they've done, but I haven't seen like their. I just wonder because they never seem to hit that at least from what I see of pictures, they're never in the top 10 lists or anything, but I don't know what Max does.
See, the thing is that Max will release stuff for The Last of Us, or you'll see all these TV networks release numbers for some of their highest rated shows. The Last of Us, you'll see it for.
Was it the hospital show, The Pit or whatever? Yeah, the ER documentary. Yeah.
But if you don't see it for AEW, you got somebody like Dave Meltzer. Well, it's gotta be 500,000, and then you have the AEW sickos going with that. They were saying it was 1.3 million this week because 800,000 AEW fans who live with their parents, stay in their basement, don't take showers, and probably don't have jobs because they go and talk about AEW all the time. Thinks that there's going to be 800,000 people on Max to go and watch a wrestling show that nobody knows about.
If it comes out,
those are the exact same people complaining about pricing.
If it comes out where there's more than 500,000 people watching, I will give you every piece of equipment I have in this house.
Right?
That's right.
If it's over 500,000, I will. Yeah. No, it's just not even. There's no chance because if it was that many on Max, you would have seen a significant hit.
I brag about it.
Numbers on. Yeah. Right, that's the other thing too. Not only is HBO and Max and WBD would brag about it, but also too, you would have seen a dent into their regular TV numbers. If there's not, there's not that many people watching. Otherwise, the houses would be bigger.
You would have seen a dent.
And WBD's in danger anday. So I'm not sure if you guys saw recently that they got a junk rating now.
We had it on our show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was Phil. George broke it in with breaking news. Was it the junk rating? That's what it was. Sam, I see your hands up. Thank you, Charles. We appreciate it. Sam, what's up?
Yeah, I was just gonna make a comment on the ticket prices. Wasn't that a huge knock on AEW in the last Australia show?
Yes.
Everyone was bitching about travel expenses and ticket prices. And by the way, that was a whole debacle because you had the whole situation with the ring and Buddy Matthews getting injured too. So
that one was one of those things where that could be like a Naked Gun style comedy movie trying to put that, where literally every time whatever they put for that, it failed. We're going to do the stadium, it's going to be a pay-per-view. Scratch that, we're going to do an arena and it'll be a collision. And then with the hotels, scratch that, you got to stay in your shitty hotel that's far away. Oh, we were going to do a full-size ring, scratch that, we're doing a 14-footer. They just kept,
how would you like, Sam?
That was the ultimate fail.
Sam, how would you like to have been the person that bought the ticket the day it went on sale? You spent $600, $700 for your ticket. You go to the show, you're sitting next to somebody maybe a row back that paid $50.
Also, too,
that's
George,
what it was.
on top of that, adding to that, if you bought it that early, you got a hotel right by the big stadium. They then moved it to a place that's 30 minutes away. So that person who spent $50, they can walk to their hotel, and you've got to take a $50 Uber. So it's even worse.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would be pissed off, and
Yeah.
especially with the way that show ended too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been pissed off. Like, I mean, and
Couldn't
again,
even
like,
give
this
Harley
is,
Cameron a W. They couldn't
I
even
mean,
give Harley a win.
well, again, you know, Harley's getting Zack Rydered, guys, and she'll keep making chicken salad out of chicken shit, and they'll keep, you know, rubbing her face in the dirt because of it, because, you know,
That poor woman.
she doesn't have her own creative writer
She's
like
not
other
poor.
people in the company.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, I've thoroughly enjoyed the segment she's done with Anna Jay. It's actually made Anna Jay more interesting because Anna Jay is actually kind of funny now.
I mean, that's the thing about Harley. She's got such good charisma that she can literally work with anyone. Like she's their version of Chelsea Green, but they're pushing her down and burying her.
Just gonna say it.
This is why we're a team, George. Hello. No, seriously though, like she maximizes her minutes. She makes the most out of it. She fully commits to some really bad stuff. At least from the clips I've seen. I don't watch Collision. I barely can watch Dynamite, let alone Collision. But from the clips you see online, like she's putting her all into it, no matter how terrible it is, and it's usually pretty friggin' terrible.
Well,
Feel bad for her, I really do.
And here's the thing, like, I realize that if she wants to wrestle, she can wrestle, but my God, I feel like you'd make so much more money with her if you made her a fucking manager or a valet.
Oh, for sure.
But again, we can't have those in the modern day because, you know, everyone has to be a wrestler, and we can't actually, you know, focus on people's strengths.
It'll come around again, Sam. I think it's all cyclical. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll come back around. Yep. Most everything in wrestling.
If it does, I think it would do in WWE, though. I don't think it can happen in AEW because they can't book anything. And maybe they could try. I would love to see it happen. I mean, it's one of those things where people always talk about, like, when they were kids and, you know, they dreamed of being wrestlers. I knew very early in my life I was not going to be that athletic. But I knew also very early in my life I could talk. So I thought manager was what I always wanted to be as a kid. Like, my heroes as a kid were Jimmy Hart, Jim Cornette, and Paul Heyman. Or he was still Paulie Dangerously. So that was what I wanted to do when I was a kid. I knew I wasn't ever going to be a wrestler.
So you guys see where they're canceling Wrestlemania and all these people are tripping out all of a sudden, like, oh, well,
they're not canceling it. They're just not doing it in New Orleans this year.
Yeah, like they're not doing it in New Orleans, and now all of a sudden people don't like Vegas. Like,
listen, here's the thing. When you have, I mentioned this last night, when you have New Jersey giving WWE $7.1 million for the double shows of SummerSlam.
Right.
You got Vegas that gave them $5 million for this year's WrestleMania, I think. Next year, what's Vegas going to give? $9-10 million for a site fee? And New Orleans can't do that. They're not prepared. They can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, didn't Indianapolis get Royal Rumble? Aren't they supposed to get WrestleMania and SummerSlam?
They're going eventually. The deal that Indianapolis made was like a 5-year deal, so they got whatever that shit. They got the Royal Rumble this year, and then I think they get and then I think there's also I don't know if it's a Money in the Bank or a SummerSlam in there too, but I know Indianapolis made like a long-term deal with it, and it seems like I'm glad you brought that up, D, because that's exactly what I was going to say. It seems like they reworked the deal. Or they're reworking the deal with New Orleans where it's like, look, maybe we'll do WrestleMania 43 or 44 there, but we'll give you, because they're doing Money in the Bank there next year. And then I think there's another one they're going to do there as well. I'm not quite sure. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if WrestleMania moves into like the same kind of thing that the Super Bowl does, where they really do it within like 5 or 6 cities.
Well, they have this delusion that they're going to do it in Vegas every year
No, they're
because
not.
all these
I don't
people
think they'll do it in
believe it.
Vegas every year, but I think it could
Well,
be. You do like
well,
what? You do
Well, let 'em
Vegas,
finish. Let 'em
Miami,
finish.
Los Angeles. You get like the Super Bowl where it's in like what 6,
well,
7 cities at most.
well, they have the delusion of listening to dirt sheets, even though
Ah,
dirt sheets lie to them every
Exactly. I
day.
can't stand the
Yeah,
dirt sheets right now. I
like
cannot stand
they,
up sitting those stuff like
it's one
that.
thing to listen to them.
like,
These people pay them money for bad
yeah.
information.
But see, the funny thing is that these people will call them out for lying, but then they will just go and believe the very next story that these
Right.
people put out there. Like, I don't feel sympathy for these people. If they want to be lied to, go ahead and be lied
No,
to.
these are
Like,
the
I'm not.
people that make sure to let you know that WrestleMania 3 didn't have 93,000 people in the Silverdome, but all in one had 81,000 in Wembley because you can't
Hmm.
tell them otherwise. I mean, literally, that's a level of delusion that's almost unfathomable because you have to. Like, it's the same information, but I'm gonna believe this one over here to my right, but not this one over here to my left. Like, here's the one in front of me, yes. The one behind me, no. Like, what the hell?
I'm going to
Yeah,
laugh. I'm going to
I'm
freaking
just,
laugh if Indianapolis get WrestleMania next year when the dirt sheets talk about Vegas. Vegas is. I'm just going to
I
laugh
think
at
that,
the dirt
well,
sheets for lying.
I don't think Indianapolis would get it next year. I think if for them to announce it and cancel it, they're probably gonna do Vegas again. But we'll see. They will
well,
be.
it
I just
could
think it's
it
funny
could
that
be
that's
London.
another
Like,
fail
you
for The
never.
Rock. I mean, how many fails has Rock? Literally everything Rock has done since he came back after. It's just been
Yeah, he kind
boo.
of put his foot in the
Yeah,
mouth in the
literally
early with that
boo.
announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was one of those. Yeah, I think maybe he jumped the gun. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I think so too. He probably did. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's always been my thing is that the IWC is a bunch of hypocrites. They'll just listen
Always.
to
Yeah.
dirt sheets that lie to you, and then they'll bitch about every single little thing about WWE. But then the WWE's like, okay, well, how do they even know that this is not like false information that's leaked out by WWE to see how
Mhm.
people would react? Like
Yeah.
do they do they not know that? Like they've done it before to Dave Meltzer.
Mhm.
JBL said we just leak fake shit out on purpose
Mhm.
just to see what's going on. Like
The dirt
I
sheet,
just
when it comes to WWE, the dirt sheets are 0 for 2025. It's right. Honestly, they're 0 for 2024 too. Like they're like, and you're absolutely right. They're either planning it with fake stuff or like, or what they'll do is they'll have like a few different people tell different stories and see who actually runs with it. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
All
they
they
yeah.
did that
do.
with Alexa Bliss too. Oh
Oh.
my
yeah,
goodness,
they've
when
done it
Alexa
plenty
Bliss
of times with that.
showed up at the Royal Rumble after Dave Meltzer said that she wasn't going to be there.
The same day. No, he said, I think it was within 24
I was
hours he had said that her contract they were too far apart. It
just
wasn't
too
going to
far
happen. Like
apart.
nobody. No,
So basically, in conclusion on the WrestleMania thing, as long as TKO owns WWE, WrestleMania is going to go to wherever the money is the most.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to work.
Yeah, no,
And
follow the
people
money.
get mad about that. Like they
Well,
don't like WWE making money. Like look at the corporate greed.
welcome
But
to
you're
the
also going to
USA.
be
Yeah, I was gonna
like
say, welcome to
Sorry.
that's mainstream mainstream businesses in this, not even in this country, on the planet. Like that's how it works. They're gonna make the most money that they can. I'm going to Raw on the 9th. It's in my city, and like I've had to set aside a few different making sure I can afford to go because it's not gonna be cheap, but I want to go
Yeah.
because you've seen his last
yeah.
appearance, Jey Uso versus Gunther. Like
You're going to
Joey's gonna
like
be
it,
there. I'm
Jay,
sold.
because
Hell yeah.
you're gonna like it because I went to SmackDown. Enjoyed Roman Reigns. That was in Atlanta at the State Farm Arena. Boy, it was uncommercial, but I enjoyed myself. I was happy.
It's the reason it's funny. I'm one of the older guys. I'm in my 40s, but
Yeah.
you wouldn't expect me to be on the Jey Uso train. And it really wasn't until January 3rd when SmackDown was here and I
Oh, my
saw him
birthday.
live. And
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
yep, I get this now. I got it walking in because literally every kid had a hat or a shirt or the hat and the shirt
Mhm.
and the glasses. And you could just see all the kids. There's something about making a connection with the fan base. And, that's why with Will Ospreay talking
And
about,
AEW fans hate that. Like they hate
yeah,
kids. They're
but
like, oh,
they only care about
they're
the
catered to
in
kids.
ring. the bell to bell. It's like Ospreay had that interview. It was like, bell to bell, we beat
And,
WWE. Bell to bell means the least in all of it. You
and
gotta
Will
make it
Ospreay
connect
needs
with
to
the
shut the
fans.
hell up about
Exactly.
WWE
I just
already.
wish he would stop.
Like, that dude talks
He's
about WWE more than I do. Like, I don't even talk about WWE that much.
and people act like, oh, well, he's asked about it. I'm like, he doesn't have to keep answering the questions. That's the
Yeah.
problem, is he keeps answering. And he's on these podcasts with nobody. He's like, every time I see the clips, I'm like, who the hell is he on this show with? I have never heard of these people. And that was like with Tony, I haven't seen Tony Khan do interviews in a while, but that was what he used to do. He'd be on like the Wrestle Kiss podcast with 37 subscribers because he knew they would, give him softballs and placate to him. And I feel like that happens a lot with Ospreay, but they ask him one or two questions about WWE, hoping it goes viral, and he's dumb enough to take the bait. I feel like every time he opens his mouth, I'm just like, why is this?
You know what's interesting
this guy's
about
not a star?
the kid connection you guys just made? The last time AEW actually made a connection with the kids was Orange Cassidy, right? They have little kids in the stands dressed like him.
Yeah. Yeah, but from there, the other two connections with kids that I can think of is MJF throwing a drink in a kid's face, and then that girl flipping off Jericho a couple weeks ago, or maybe months ago at this point now. Like that's their interaction with children. Or what was it when Christian had his daughter and he was like, told security to kick her out or whatever. Like, yeah, they don't.
The way you interact with kids, and I mentioned it yesterday, was when Jey Uso came out yesterday.
Yes.
For his intro, found that kid in the stands, waited for the camera to get to him, got in the yeet position, told the kid to go. The kid's look on his face afterwards was
everything.
Something that, as a father, you've seen and you appreciate like you've never seen on your son's face ever. And that will be something that stuck with him probably for the next 30, 40 years.
Yeah, and it's going to stick with you nailed it. It's going to stick with his dad for the rest of his life. Like, that dad is now like, no, you can't say anything bad about Jey Uso. Look what he did for my son. And that's the third or fourth time I've seen him do it. He's done that recently. I think it was either the first Raw or the second Raw, or after he'd won the title. He did the same thing, and that kid was like too nervous about it, but he did it. And it's like his face was kind of like in shock, but you could see the eyes in that kid, and the eyes never lie. And that kid, same kind of thing.
And AEW fans speak like childless behavior. Like like it's so bad to go and appease kids when they're going to be the ones that are going to be watching in the future. Like, don't you would think that you'd want to go and cater to them. Like, they're going to be the ones that stick with you.
And I don't care who you are and what wrestling you really enjoy. Like, if you like the strong style or the violent stuff now. We all got into this as kids. Like, I don't think there's anybody who was like, I found wrestling at 25. Like maybe, but not that much. Most of us got into this. You could talk about when you were hooked. Like, for me, it was Undertaker coming out in the early 90s. Like, that just was.
That was mine too.
Yeah. I can still remember being 9, 10 years old at my buddy's house watching the pay-per-view. He's like, what is this? Plus, I at least thought Roddy Piper was cool and he was putting him over. And I'm like, well, if Roddy says it's big and cool, I'm in. But yeah, like all of us got into wrestling as kids. So yeah, you cannot, it's kind of like go to a baseball game and like there's people that get mad when like the kid gets the ball. Like, of course, give it to the kid. And I'm speaking as someone who doesn't have children and isn't going to, but I still understand it. I get it. That's how the future moves forward. We're not going to, this doesn't stay around if there isn't a fan base to fund it.
You also have to take into account that I have a few friends, not a lot as I've gotten older, but a few friends that are AEW fans and are very cordial, very nice. They're just normal people. What is that noise?
Yeah, I think Sam, that might be you in the background, bud. Yeah, Sam, mute yourself, bud. Thanks, boss.
Yeah, there's a subculture to being an AEW fan. I mean, there's some normal people out there. They're just like you and I, talk about it normally, and those are the people I talk to, and I don't get into anything else besides that.
Yeah, no, it's funny. So one of my best friends, actually the guy I went to the to SmackDown with on January 3rd and the guy I went to the Joe Hendry meet and greet with in February, he lives much closer to the arena where Double or Nothing is tonight. And I don't know exactly how he got tickets, but he said, I got cheap tickets and he's going tonight, but only because he got cheap tickets at the last minute. And he's going more for the fun of it, but he's gonna, but I also have another friend who I'm great friends with, and he keeps trying to defend AEW to me, and I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I get that you like it, but you don't have to get me to like it. Like, I've told you why I don't like it.
And they get so sensitive when you talk about it. Like,
they
get sensitive.
The people that are really the people that want you to be into it as is. Like when people ask me like why I'm not into AEW or what I don't like about it, or like why do you hate it? First off, I don't hate it. I hate that it's not good. Like you see the talent, they've got enough people there where it could be good, but it's not booked well. I will point out the 5 things I mostly don't like about it, and then none of that changes. So then 2 months from now, like, well, are you watching? No, I'm not watching. None of that's changed. Excalibur's still on the microphone. None of the stories mean anything, and John Moxley's still got the belt in the box or a briefcase.
Yeah. For me, the 2 things I don't like is that Tony Khan, the booker, and then the fans. It's like they speak about, oh, well, we want competition, and Tony Khan has gone out and said that they want competition, but then their fan bases, they go out there and defend a billionaire, because they got on WWE fans for defending Vince McMahon, a billionaire. But all of a sudden now it's cool to go and defend billionaires. Like their whole fan base is hypocritical.
Yeah,
I don't want them to go out of business.
They
but
love
I
Tony
could see
billionaire.
why.
They don't like Vince billionaire. Funny how that works.
Yeah, like I could see why that some people want them to go out of business. I don't, but I could see with the way that they approach things, I could see why people don't want them to succeed.
Funny you say that. So here's my thing. It's not that I want them to go out of business. It's just that Tony has put himself into this position where he is impossible to root for. I'm not rooting for the company to fail, but I would really like him to go away.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah,
I just want Tony Khan to go away. Like, you have so many good bookers in the back that you could go and use, but you choose to use Tony Khan.
Well, he chooses because it's his money, and I understand that, but from day one, he wanted to be in charge of me. That's why Cornette didn't get involved with them, is because Tony said, only I'm going to book my TV or whatever he says. From day one, he wanted to be the booker. If he'd just had enough humbleness in him, which obviously as a rich kid he's not going to have, but if he had any, hey, I'll be the promoter. I'll be the one who like bangs the drum and celebrates what we do and promotes what we want, but somebody else book this. I'll follow you and learn, but he never did. That was his problem. And from day one, it's just been, that's how you have a freaking legless man in your first pay-per-view. Like, just no.
The good old Zach Gallen.
No, well, Zach Gallen was recently. I'm talking about in the first pay-per-view. We had the guy walking around in his hands.
The legless guy. Totally different from Zach Gallen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but their first pay-per-view where the guy in that it was the
Battle Royal.
Casino Battle Royal, and the guy's coming out on his hands, and it's just like, I'm all for inclusion, and I understand, but like maybe not at your first show. Like I'm George.
I'm not. If you don't belong in the sport, you don't belong in the sport.
I mean, well, that's, you make it a moment years later where it's like, kind of like, like you get to, not in your first show. Honestly, what killed me there was the first, Dynamite or second Dynamite where the, Dark Order was coming out and not punching people, but throwing the fists. Like that was just embarrassing, but, oh man.
But yeah, they can't take even like a moment of criticism. Like even if it's constructive, it's like they think they use the same E-drone and the Fed. And I always go at them like, so what does the Federal Reserve have to go and do with wrestling?
There's a couple things that automatically make your argument invalid to me. Number one is if you have like elite in your username, if we're in a Twitter battle. The other one is where people, when they call it the Fed, like, first off, it's been WWE longer than it was WWF. So can we move on from that now, please? Like those are like the two ones. Just, it's immediate, like your argument's invalid because you're not coming. They like they used to say, they don't say it anymore, but Tony always used to talk about, oh, it's a bad faith argument. These bad faith grifters. Like, no, you're the one working in bad faith, dude.
Yeah, all these he's pretending like all these people are coming after him. Like, oh, we're like, no, you're going after other people. Like you went after Jacksonville players.
he's he's the one who I still when he talked about during the TNA thing where he talked about Nick Khan. If that isn't the first shots fired off the bow, like sorry, buddy, like when they return fire and it's all of a sudden petty and you're being under attack. But if you punch first, like that, you punch first.
This whole thing,
Like-
this whole thing started right at the beginning. They could have took the ECW path and went with we're the underdogs. That's how we're going to do it. They didn't do it that way. They went WWE as our
didn't.
right from the beginning. They could have easily went the other way.
It was more important for them to be in a war.
It didn't go that way. They wanted to be number 2, and they weren't even number 2 in diarrhea form yet.
Yeah. And they think everything is counter programming. Like all these things with the new with Evolution and Worlds Collide, they think everything is counter programming. Oh, you're counter programming AEW. Oh, you're counter programming this. I know, they just made a date and they went with it.
Well,
yeah. I feel like it's one of those things where like if it happens to also affect AEW, they're not gonna not do it, but that's not the reason they're doing it. Yeah, no,
like I said, once you started calling them bald assholes and shit like that, once that happened,
yep,
and they look at the calendar,
and the bald assholes.
Okay,
yep,
they look at the calendar, and they see AEW's got their Money or Double or Nothing scheduled. Okay, when's NXT supposed to be scheduled? Oh, same day. Oh, we're bald assholes. Here you go.
Right.
That's how it works. It's only human nature, guys. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I mean, if he called the entire company Harvey Weinstein's. Like, so yeah, so I don't. Of course, Javon Evans is going to call him a crackhead. You literally said he works for or is, rapist.
Harvey Weinstein. Like what did they think was going to happen? Like they get so upset when people say things about him, but then look at the people that are on the top saying things like the wrestlers, and you got Ricochet out there responding to internet trolls and everything else. Like
with 6 followers, the Harvey Weinstein thing too. The reason that one's so egregious to me is because like you could tell he had a line written out that he wanted to say because he started it,
tried it
got
twice,
stopped. He had his opportunity. The world gave him a chance to be like, don't do this. Don't do this. And he was like, nah, fuck it. I'm doing it, bitch. And he did it. And he said it with such vigor and a smile on his face. And then I swear you could hear the guys react and you see his eyes go, oh God, what have I done? And like, you get what you deserve. Like I said before, I'm not an athlete. If I walked up to, late 1990s Mike Tyson and I start saying shit to him that I shouldn't and he punches me in the face, that's my fault, not his.
Yeah, he acts like that drunk guy that during the Ron Artest fight, like he reminds me of that dude. Like he provoked Ron Artest, and then Ron Artest had enough. Like he's gonna be one of those guys one of these days.
Yeah, just like Ricochet debut was not good at all. I'm sorry, he's been a stunk ever since then.
Yeah, no, the debut at the he debuted in a Royal Rumble.
Exactly. I'm like, didn't you have the man lose the first day? I'm like, hey.
Oh, you forgot, Jake, that Ricochet's going to face Mark Briscoe in a stretcher match tonight.
Is that on the show or is that on the pre-show?
Yeah, that's on the show. That's on the main show.
Thank God.
I mean, you feel bad for Mark Briscoe. If anybody in that company I feel bad for, it's that guy.
Do you?
Because he's done, because.
Why?
Because there was an opportunity for them to push him and do something with him. He, trying to make him at least somewhat of a star, and he's just done job after job after job.
But he's getting his money.
I mean, he is. And
I mean, I feel bad. I kind of feel bad for him, the same as you, but. I mean, he's there.
I feel bad for his career, not for him. Yeah, and he's smart enough to know. You can tell by the way he's working.
Yes,
he's not doing anything that's going to risk himself getting hurt. He's not going to risk that paycheck. No, and he's paying for his kids' college
Yeah.
and Jay's kids' college. So that's amazing.
That's why I
And
don't. That's why I don't feel
just
bad
the
for him. I feel
just
happy
the
for him.
delusion with this fan base too. Like they think every wrestler is going to debut or return on this card. Like, Mariah May's going to return.
Well,
Like, what signs have you seen that Mariah May's going to return? They've basically
Her
erased her out of
Instagram,
history.
showing old pictures of her. I'm like, no.
no, that's so hilarious. You say that literally when I logged on here like an hour or whatever ago to set up the spaces. What the third most trending topic was Eddie Kingston. And I'm like, what? There's been no change. Like you haven't seen any of him working out. All I've seen of him is his beard's grown bigger and so is his belly. Like, come on. They
Like,
just want
they just think everybody's gonna interfere or debut or make a return to this card. Like, do they not know how wrestling works? They only do
No,
like
they don't.
one at most.
And I mean, like, they definitely don't, because back to the Will Ospreay doing stupid shit interviews, selling AJ Styles to quit his job with WWE and come work for AEW. Like, no. He's got a great job. He's got a good role. He's doing fine. He's set up for life. He could probably be a trader if he wants to. He's not gonna go run around with you and your stupid idiot friends.
If Mariah May showed up at WWE television, the AEW,
Here's
the
what I
next
want.
you're gonna have a meltdown.
I'm glad
Like,
you
yeah,
said.
wait for that.
Could you imagine if she debuts on that Women's Evolution 2 on All In Day? Please.
Oh yeah,
Please
and I'm
give
keeping
me that.
receipts too. I'm
Oh
keeping
my God.
receipts.
If
Like,
that happens, there's not going to be a better day on Twitter.
well, they were already turning on her. Like, it's funny with
They've turned on
AEW
her
fans.
completely. Not all
Oh
of them,
yeah,
but a lot of them have. Oh,
yeah. Like,
they've completely turned.
I find it funny, like when people when in the dirt sheets, and dirt sheets contribute to this. Like, they think that they did it with FTR when FTR's contract was coming up, and there was rumors of them leaving. It's like, oh, well, I don't like them. Then all of a sudden they return, and it's like they'll pretend like they never said a damn thing about them.
You're right. They got Dax's podcast canceled. They were so mad that they thought Dax was leaving that anything he said on his podcast, they bitched. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, like these people, yeah, they got his podcast canceled. They were threatening. He was threatened. Like, they were going to go and leave, and then they were turning on him. Then all of a sudden, when they go and re-sign, it's like they pretended like they didn't say a damn thing. Like, oh, I'm glad that you guys are back. I've always supported you. Like, shut the hell up.
No,
you said they
right.
contribute to the problem. They actually start the problem.
They start the problem.
They don't contribute to it. They begin it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No. They
There's a
are
difference.
it. Oh God, I forgot. I'm looking at the card right now for this show. Yeah, I forgot Anarchy in the Arena, because this show's like a half hour from me, and I was debating on going because I probably could have got a $20 ticket. The moment that Anarchy in the Arena was announced, I was like,
and you know Mercedes is gonna win anyway. Like, it's
for sure. Yeah, because and then she'll beat, and because whoever wins the Owen gets the title shot at All In, and then she'll just go beat Tony Storm there.
Dude, we called Mercedes' trajectory a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's already common sense. Like, they're trying to push her to be like the most undefeated star in their history, and some people are holding out hope that Jamie Hayter's gonna win. Like, you guys are idiots. Like,
what have you seen from Jamie Hayter in the last year and a half from AEW that makes you think there's any chance?
The 70s porn actress look.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. That's what she looks like.
She's like Becky Lynch is what she looks like.
Okay, before we go any further, remember, guys, on YouTube, AltJakeTakesOn, subscribe, like, share, please.
Please.
Tell your friends. We're moving up. We're moving up slowly, but we are moving up.
Yeah.
So.
No, there's growth every day. No, we appreciate everybody. We're going to record again tomorrow, so we'll have another episode out. George has got other things working on behind the scenes, so that's the whole point of this Spaces, is to get more subscribers and people to view us from there so that we can monetize it and then do more and more of it. That's the whole idea.
And I'm not going to be watching this card because it doesn't interest me. Like, oh boy, I want to see Okada and Mike Bailey, a guy who wears no shoes when he's in the ring. Oh boy.
What that match is.
And and Nigel and Daniel Garcia entertains me, don't they?
I'm watching NXT tonight, so.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely.
I'm watching Battleground.
Yeah, I'm 100% watching Battleground.
See, I watch.
If Phil wants me on for PWT, I'll put AEW on in the background, GRBT, but I don't care. I'm looking at the card right now. Who cares about anything on this?
I'll watch NXT PLEs all the time. I just haven't gotten into the Tuesday show because I can't watch TV on Tuesdays.
Well, and the good thing about that is the NXT show. They will tell you the storyline going into it, so you're gonna know why it is, and it works. And honestly, with NXT, and I love NXT, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan, but sometimes because it's developmental, there are parts of it that are a little bit harder to watch or a little cringy, but they can edit those out in the video packages, so it looks great. And
they just made a buy-in match, an 8-man tag team match. RPG Vice Crew versus Bandito, Air Fox, and Los Titanes del Aire.
That's a lot of words. That is a lot of words, buddy.
I'll just read what they said on the thing.
Well, I feel like the RP, that's Rapalgi, Vice, and 2 other idiots, and then a bunch of luchadors and AR Fox. So
remember one thing, folks. If you want to be entertained thoroughly before the pay-per-view starts, go to their YouTube page and watch. They actually have a comment section going in the YouTube section. Right. It's hilarious, folks. Hilarious.
The pre-show with the comments. You're absolutely right. Oh yeah, with the live. I forgot about that. That was something that we found out the last day, and oh my god. And there's no mods in it at all. Oh, it's a fun chat. It just
the fake JDs
sickos,
in there.
Gargoyles. Yeah. There's like 6 JDs in there.
Because, the Paragon and Don Callis family really entertains me.
There's so much just terrible stuff on also too, like the Hurt Syndicate, the best thing you have going on in the show, you have them wrestling Dustin Rhodes. Okay, great. But then Sammy Guevara, who literally I thought was leaving the company. That was what I thought. I heard, that
because he said some stuff about Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, and he has not been allowed on a Dynamite since, as far as I know. Or if he has been allowed on, it's because she wasn't. Yeah.
Well, they're the ROH Tag Team Champions, so yeah.
Yeah, what do they call themselves? The Sons of Texas. Okay. And ROH, there's another thing. Like, how is that not on any You're going to tell me that Evolve can get a deal with Tubi, but ROH can't, and people have to pay for it?
Because he wants it. He wants it someplace that he wants it, and people aren't going to pay for it. He wants it on the WB networks. Where's it going to go?
Yeah, why would you want it known there? Because then you're like, oh no, I'm going to turn down a deal with the CW because I want to have a WBD deal. WBD, make me a good offer. Yeah. Why? No, he has no understanding of how business works, how money works, how leverage works.
CW could have had AEW first, and he chose not to. So.
No, they made them a deal, as far as I understand. Or there was the deal, and then or they made him an offer. They made him an offer. Yeah. And then they denied it. And then they're showing you what they could have done with NXT. Like NXT's on the CW NASCAR car. Their commercials are all over it. Like
think about
the face of the CW.
Think about how that could have changed. The CW president could have come out and said, "Oh man, AEW has been great for our network. It's awesome. We got much better than we thought." How would that change things? Oof.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, no.
It could have.
Yep.
And now, but he sticks with David Zaslav, who literally all I see are tweets making fun of that guy. Like nobody respects that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because Tony versus Mina is really going to entertain me because it's a battle of shaking her boobs in the ring. Like, oh boy, that's really going to be entertaining.
I'm okay with that. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, it's going to be okay, but this is the most predictable card that they've ever done.
That's the other problem with the AEW pay-per-views. Everyone talks about how, but the shows might not be great, but the pay-per-views are awesome. I'm like, literally,
that's usually true, though. It usually
they're
is
good
true.
for matches, but you know what's going to happen.
The Knicks are going to hurt them tonight.
You're right. No, the NBA killed them on Wednesday. I saw that. But like, this will be the third pay-per-view for AEW that we've at least talked about or been doing the Sunday show on before they've gone on. And literally, I don't think we've got a match wrong yet. Like, looking at this card, you can figure out who's going to win. Like, I don't know. I mean, they'll probably have some returns and maybe a debut, but who else can they even have debut at this point?
The Kia, that toxic spider lady. You've seen a spider there the past couple weeks.
Oh yeah, what is it? Thekla? Is that her name?
Thekla,
yeah.
I guess. But then there's rumors that Cedric Alexander might debut, but
That'd be
another ex-WWE person.
But that you can actually make it. That makes sense.
That does.
Yeah.
What's funny about that is that he's married to Big Swole, and the situation that happened with Tony and Big Swole. But I don't think Cedric's not going to care because he'll take Tony's money. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. Right. And it's like they got to rely on debuts and all this other stuff. Like, they don't need to rely on debuts. They already have enough talent. You're just taking away from somebody else on the spot.
Yeah. No, the fact that like they have it, like, because everyone keeps talking about who's going to take the title off of Moxley. The fact that it's not going to be Joe is the dumbest thing in the like I would say in the history of this company, but let's be real, there's a million dumb things they've done.
They're relying on Adam Page again. They're relying on Adam Page, who's already.
It'll probably be Ospreay, or it's got to be Ospreay or Darby Allin. You would think, but
well, if Darby Allin makes it down Mount Everest.
All right, so you see Ospreay you think an Ospreay beats Moxley and then Darby beats Ospreay? I could see that.
Yep.
Yeah, Hangman's gonna lose. Hangman losing. Yeah.
If Darby Allin makes it down Mount Everest, that is.
Yeah. If he slides down like Homer. No.
He'll be on his skateboard.
All I know is I feel like Adam Page and Ospreay are battling for whoever has the worst. Like, that should be a hair versus hair match. Because both those haircuts are awful. Why does Adam Page have a perm? Why?
Well, what I also find funny is that they think whoever beats Jon Moxley is going to save the company all of a sudden. Like, no, it's going to be the same booking no matter who the champion is. Like, how do you know if you make Adam Page or Will Ospreay the champion that things are going to change within that time?
How many times did this company need to either be saved or have the feeling restored or resetting? Like, this company's not even like 6 years old and they've already had 3 hard resets. They've restored the feeling 3 or 4 times. Like, this, it's just a joke.
Hey,
it's just an absolute joke.
On a positive AEW count, no, is Kyle Felcher involved in this at all?
Yeah.
Is he?
Good? Yeah, he's with the Don Callis family.
Who's he taking on in this? I'm not.
The Paragon. Adam
it's a
Cole.
Tag team match?
Yeah, it's a 6-man tag.
Yeah, it's
now let's go into this real quick because Felcher has changed his look immensely. He looks great. The guy is cut. He looks like a professional. Why have him in a tag team match? Why not feature this guy?
Not even a tag match, dude. It's a trios match.
Oh,
he's in a tag match with Takeshita and Josh Alexander on his team, right? Like, it'd be bad enough as a tag match, but it's a trios match against the Undisputed Kingdom, which is, I guess, they're not the Paragon or whatever.
Time to move him up. He's already taken on Ospreay twice and won both times, right?
I think
he's beat him once.
Okay.
He beat him once. He lost the cage match.
Okay, so have another match and have it decide or have him win. That's huge.
But you're asking AEW. You're asking Tony Khan to actually develop stars.
That's a guy.
Which how dare you?
He's right there. He has actually changed from the time I started watching AEW till now. He looks totally different and so much better.
You can actually see the improvement.
I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to go nuts in about 2 seconds. I feel it.
He doesn't do a 450.
Well, I'm going to do another Spanish fly off the cage and freaking concuss himself. Where their head
and then gotta kick out of 7 Canadian destroyers and 5 super kicks and, we got to kick out of all these things. So, he's going to have to go do that.
Outside. Yeah, yeah. And especially like this match will have that because it's Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. So it's just No, Ted, looking at that match card, you see Takeshita and Kyle, and it's like those two could be absolute stars for this company, and they're being wasted away under the Don Callis family.
They should
Absolutely.
be.
Those two, Hobbs and Wardlow.
I'm coming
to
to
me,
a
those
boil.
four as your top big. It's George is getting hot.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys heard it or not. It was I think
coming.
was it the last AEW pay-per-view or the one before where we had to do a special episode because George had to let it out or he was going to start punching people. George was mad. I liked it.
There's talent. There's people
so much talent.
like you're mentioning people that are all superstars in WWE. Hobbs, Wardlow, Belcher, probably even Ospreay if he fucking could take some criticism, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
They all
And
could
some
be
coaching.
They're all just wasting, but they're making their money, so I don't know what to tell I don't know what to say. It just hurts. It hurts as a wrestling fan to see somebody with potential not taking advantage of it all.
What
That's all
you
I'm
hope
gonna say.
for the hope is that the
I'm
guys that are
shit.
young enough, like Fletcher, like Takeshita, I think Hobbs is young enough still too. I know Wardlow's older than I thought he was, but like those guys, you hope like make your money now, don't get injured, and then if there's an opportunity when your contract's coming up to go to NXT, go
Because get injured
they've
if you're
shown.
not booked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm afraid of the time being added on, and then you can never get to leave.
Oh, Wardlow wasn't
Or
hurt
Tony
at all.
will
That's
release
good.
you at some weird ass time, but no, there's probably a good 5 to 10 people in that company that you could see that if they could just get out of there, like even the women's division, like Willow Nightingale, she would be awesome as part of NXT
But
right
she
now.
just resigned, so that ain't happening.
Yeah, and I mean you can't blame her because that's more zeros than
The money's
thought they ever
good.
seen in their life. Yeah,
But
you just hope they don't sign for 5
when
years.
people sign there, it's like they can make the choice all they want, but don't sit there and go on social media and complain about your status or about those things when you re-sign with that company. So
yeah, like what in you thought it was going to be different? Because you hear some people complain about that, like, oh, I was promised this or this is going to happen. Like, have you not watched the TV? Like, especially on the women's side, like you're lucky if you're on 2 shows a month. Like that's unless you're Mercedes, then you're on every episode and no one cares.
Have you heard?
I wish I had Phil's soundboards. I need the no pop, no pop.
Have you seen their Righteous from RH? They left AEW, and I was like,
They left. Yeah, they left. Hey, what's up, Jay? I see MJ's coming in. What's up, MJ? How you doing, buddy?
Will Ospreay has beat Kyle Fletcher twice since Kyle Fletcher did beat him initially.
It is twice. I knew he won the cage match. Jesus.
Yep. So Kyle Fletcher won at Full Gear. Will Ospreay then defeated him in the semifinals of the Continental Classic at World's End. He then won the blow-off match in the steel cage.
Right. Okay. I forgot about World's End.
The reason I felt the need to correct that was the following. One of the biggest problems AEW has in making stars is they keep introducing stars, and they keep telling you that these people are stars and game changers. So Will Ospreay cannot come in and lose a feud to Kyle Fletcher, who is an up-and-coming star. Therefore, he has to go over in the feud because their priorities are Will Ospreay. Right. What does that do to Kyle Fletcher? It relegates him to basically being a B player. And this has happened over and over and over again.
Yep.
Because AEW keeps bringing in talent that people that follow AEW, sickos, or people who watch New Japan or wrestling fans on the internet, they are aware that Will Ospreay is a star overseas. But the North American crowd, who does not really give a shit about Will Ospreay, to be honest, they don't know. So you can't have him lose a feud to a guy that you're also trying to make. And this is a booking flaw that exists because of a need to keep bringing in talent, because the talent you have is not actually over enough to draw. So you just have to keep finding new talent to keep people excited. And we all see that when people get overexcited about a Kevin Knight or a Josh Alexander, and then they book themselves into these spots where what is Josh Alexander doing on this pay-per-view?
He's in a trios match with Fletcher and Takeshita versus what used to be the Undisputed Era.
And is that on the pre-show?
I don't think so. I think it's
no, it's not on the pre-show.
I think it's the actual pay-per-view, but I mean,
okay. Well, that's an improvement because
Yeah.
I initially thought that was on the pre-show.
Well-
and what my point was going to be, and I still think the point stands, is that Josh Alexander being brought in to be in a meaningless trios match on the undercard doesn't exactly make Josh Alexander's signing as important as people acted like it was.
Right. First off, two questions. Well, has Josh Alexander even won a match yet since he's shown up? Like, I know he's lost. I know he lost his debut, and I know he lost another one. And two, I just put I put YouTube on like a half hour ago because it said the buy-in was supposed to start 50 minutes ago, and it still hasn't started. And people, I have the chat up now, George, and people are like, "Is this an hour late? What the hell's going on?" The sickles are getting pissed, having a sickle meltdown already. Yeah.
Are you not going? You're not going to the show?
I am not.
Do you want to go?
No, I decided not really. No, I don't live that close. I don't want to pay for parking. It's 105 degrees outside. I'm good. That arena is going to stink.
We're now at a point, by the way, where parking costs more than a ticket to these shows.
Yeah.
That was true at the Now Arena. That is true again tonight. This is a broken economic model. This is not sustainable. Maybe they should do the pay-per-views at smaller venues and maximize revenue, opposed to trying to show that you can draw 8,000 people, which I'm just going to take a victory lap because guessing creative to me is like cool. It's fantasy booking. I am now actively months in advance projecting their ticket sales to plus or minus 2%. On May 2nd, I said this would do 8,000. Actually, in April, I said 8,000. On May 2nd, I doubled down. It is now May 25th, and they have done just about 8,000, plus or minus 2%.
And isn't it funny that Battleground has outsold Double or Nothing tonight? Don't you find that funny?
I find it obvious.
That's it, yeah.
Is it funny? Yeah, it's funny, but it's like, I don't think we should compare AEW to NXT anymore. I don't think that's fair to NXT, which is a bona fide brand that has the backing and endorsement of their partner, CW.
Yes.
I don't think that NXT is a developmental brand that people thought it was or it used to be. I think it is a halfway house for talent coming in before they're ready to get finished. It's like a finishing school. And I also think that with the partnership with TNA, like Joe Hendry's wrestling on that show tonight, he's not developmental. He just was on WrestleMania.
Right.
We've seen other main roster talent on NXT. I think AEW's like closest competitor right now is New Japan when they run the US, because I mean that's New Japan outdraws them when they run the US from a weekly television versus whatever US shows New Japan does. Now obviously the pay-per-views still draw, but you know, like, okay, great, you sold 2,000 tickets at $40. Like, that's cool, I guess. But it's not, I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know what the NXT prices were. They sold a hell of a lot more tickets way faster. And AEW is basically Ring of Honor 2018, more or less.
Yeah, that's what it's come to.
And I don't think anyone was saying Ring of Honor was NXT Black and Gold. And I don't think AEW is NXT 2025.
Yeah, AEW is not even NXT 2.0.
Yeah, at this point
AEW would do itself a great service to actually try to be NXT in the sense that they are developing younger talent that will be the future of main events of WrestleMania. If you look at WrestleMania this year, it was littered with people that all came up during NXT 2.0 and or before. Mm-hmm. And AEW they don't have those talents. Who's wrestling in the big matches tonight? Will Ospreay and Hangman Page?
Yeah.
Tony Storm, Jamie Hayter. Ooh. They're not exactly developing new talents to present to you. They are giving you talents that, quite frankly, were more popular in 2018.
True.
Yeah, and
all true.
The Anarchy Arena match that nobody cares about. The Death Riders and Young Bucks.
Featuring your veterans on the roster who you're still trying desperately to get over as something more than what they are, because what they are they're on the downside of their peak. Talk about Mount Everest. Well, the Young Bucks, Claudio, Wheeler Yuta, Jon Moxley are all on the backside of their popularity and their peak, which you can argue was with AEW, but was with AEW several years ago.
Right.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Back when Wild Thing was the entrance theme, yes. The good old days.
And
Back when they had people on the hard
if you
tip
go back and watch some of those shows, it's hard to go back and say that AEW did not catch lightning in a bottle. Unfortunately, lightning in a bottle sometimes is momentary. And right now what they're doing is still trying to find a bottom. They had the highest rating of the year 2 weeks ago, and then they had 100,000 average drop-off.
Yeah, for the
And you
go-home
can
show.
say it's due to, and you for the go-home show. And you can say...
That's from an NBA game, though.
Okay, fine, but you can say in the main events, all right, those were the main event, the final few segments were in the 400,000s, which shows me they're still making new lows intra-show. And I caught wind of that Meltzer tweet about the NBA, and a lot of AEW fans were the NBA fans. When the NBA is the lead-in for AEW, they celebrate how high the AEW rating is. And it's not the NBA, it's AEW. But when AEW's rating is low due to NBA competition, it's because of the NBA. Well, which one is it?
Yeah.
It's just like the Max ratings. When their ratings low, it doesn't include Max. When they feel like they've gotten a high one, they don't worry about that. It's funny how that always operates.
And
yeah.
When they beat NXT,
yeah.
Look, ratings matter. When they don't, ratings don't matter. And the more that and we've had these conversations with Phil before. I've talked about this with others for a while now. At some point, the numbers do not lie, and the trends, momentary or short term, they become long term, and then they become undeniable, and then they become fact, and then they become panic, and the cycle repeats itself. And no matter how much people want to argue, and forget the sickos, no matter how much certain people that want to project or be charlatans will argue things, they ultimately find themselves back where they started, which was, maybe there is a problem. And it wasn't too long ago that the problem was AEW should run smaller venues. Well, they did. Now they have to do residencies.
Yeah.
And it won't be too long before, it was the ticket prices. Well, maybe then they have to lower the ticket prices. Now they're bargain bin discounts.
Yeah.
And it will continue over and over again in different manifestations because the leadership of the company, objectively sucks. Execution sucks. And I'm just objectively looking at this as a business. It sucks. You can't promote things. And look at all the outrage about WWE with moving WrestleMania, right? AEW's done that 4 times this year.
Right.
Yeah.
AEW continues to put out graphics that are wrong. It's a matter of, at some point, this isn't an accident. This is just failure, institutional failure.
This is just your failure of a business model at that point.
Yeah, on that happy note.
Exactly.
On that happy note, we're coming to the end of our scheduled time period here. Jake, please check your DMs for me and get back to me on what I sent you a little while ago.
So when does Warner Brothers move into the triple digit channel?
Sooner than later, I feel like. Or they piecemeal it off if they get sold or something. I think that seems like why HBO put their name back on Max, because they know they're going to probably branch off, but we'll see.
Yeah. So next week,
AEW on Destiny Discovery.
A quick thing on HBO. Because there's been a lot of chatter about that, and this is something that there's only a handful of people in discourse that probably are equipped to speak on this. HBO Max is now a thing again because all the data has shown Warner Brothers is that the things that do well on HBO on Max are HBO programs. Warner Brothers has smartly combined all of their distribution, all their streaming, in order to produce what is now a 1.5% streaming share. You might remember it used to be 1.2. They combined everything. It's 1.5. It's still among the lowest. Yet somehow White Lotus was one of the most viewed streaming shows in all of April, in May, for the duration it ran. So what that tells you is that White Lotus outperforms most streaming shows, and yet Max woefully underperforms most streaming services. So how much lower is the average viewership for most stuff on Max outside of White Lotus or outside of Game of Thrones or House of Dragon or Succession or Industry? The point being, it has become obvious that what worked for years with HBO in Max was HBO.
Right.
And what doesn't work is this mishmash of populous assets. And populous assets, stuff that, Discovery has, stuff that Turner had. AEW would fall into that bucket of stuff that's for the common man, not for the HBO consumer. And so they have now reverted back. And they're specifically telling you we're not trying to be something for everyone. We're not trying to be Netflix. We're not trying to be Amazon. When they say that, what they're telling you, without saying it, is we are trying to be highbrow television like we used to be, HBO. And Apple TV has been eating their lunch when it comes to that. So they are now in competition with Apple TV to say, who's the HBO of 2025? When they ultimately spin off Warner Brothers and Max in the studio, and the Turner assets and the TV assets all go into their shitco, there's going to be a question. How much do we pay for assets in a company that we know will ultimately go away? The answer is $1 million question, or in the case of AEW, an $180 million question, because it's going to be hard to believe that a company knowingly sunsetting itself, trying to figure out ways to stay cash flow positive, will continue to dump money into programs that underperform. And AEW, despite whatever people want to point to with rankings, underperforms because they don't generate the ad yield that shows that cost a heck of a lot less would yield the same. So I don't care about rankings. I don't care about the viewership. I care, what did you spend to get the return on advertising? And AEW costs a fortune when you can probably put any number of wipeouts on and get the same exact advertising rate. And that is a question for a company that is yet to be determined, which is the future of whatever Turner assets are.
Cool.
That's all.
I wish you would have came in at the beginning of the show, MJ. But no, but I'm gonna have you back as a full guest. Just check your DMs and let me know when you can do it.
George, you are welcome to be Mr. 69. I put out the note a few days ago. Jake, I don't know why you didn't tell him. But George, I welcome you to be Mr. 69.
What I do?
Submissions are available, and otherwise I don't know if I can read your DMs, or you can even DM me right now.
Did.
You did?
Yeah. Pretty sure I did.
Oh.
All right.
Okay. I don't know how X works.
Oh,
yeah,
all right. Take care, guys. Enjoy the show.
Twitter was supposed to be the message anyway the last couple of days, so I get you. All right. Well, shit. That was good.
On
that was fun.
note, Johnny Bottles is next week back at our regular time at 8:05. Don't forget, it's AltJake TakesOn on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, that sort of thing.
Yes, sir. Yes. We're recording another episode tomorrow, so we'll be back pretty soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.
Peace out.